Hey, it's Charles, candidate for governor here in the great state of Texas. I wanted to make a statement today about my stance on the Second Amendment. As the next Navy SEAL, I am very comfortable with weapons, and I believe guns have been wrongly accused throughout the last few decades in our country as to the crimes they've been associated with. Let my stance be very quick and very clear. No infringement on the right of our citizens to bear arms of any capacity. There is no one more accepting of having a well-armed militia and citizenry than me. It is not the gun or the weapon that kills people. It is people who use those guns that do harm and take life. Infringing and encroaching on gun rights will only increase crime, and history proves that. If there is any regulations made with owning firearms, it is the law-abiding citizens that will be the ones that abide by those laws, and the criminals will still own them. If there are any regulations that encroach and infringe upon the rights of guns and the citizenry of Texas, the criminals will resort to anything other than guns to do a crime because they're criminals. Gun rights is an oxymoron. It does not make people safe. I would like to see gun ownership in the state of Texas increase. The media hysteria has used trigger words and very unfortunate occurrences in history to regulate these weapons. You can set your watch and count down the minutes after an unfortunate event when the media starts crying for gun rights to be suppressed. No, not in Texas. The problem with that is that other people think they can say that. That's the problem with it. But when I read the Second Amendment, I see being necessary to a secure and free state. I see a well-regulated militia. So if the words about owning a gun or owning a high-caliber rifle, semi-automatic rifle, or the capacity of a magazine, those have nothing to do with the Second Amendment. And those items are not the cause of the crime. You're treating the symptom and not the root. In my Texas, we will treat the root problem, mental illness. We need mentally healthy citizens. When I'm governor, we will look for and we will help those who are the highest problems in our society. I would love to see gun safety a part of our K-12 education. They call accidents accidents because they are accidents. They are unfortunate and they are very avoidable. A well-regulated militia will, in the future, I hope, move past guns and use technologies that apply to the future of having a well-regulated, free, and secure state. I would like to see the organization of many local militias. Sends a signal. I would like to see teachers, every school, in every classroom, carrying to protect their children. I would like to see taxes, fees, and regulations stripped from purchasing and owning firearms in Texas. If you buy a firearm, you should not pay exorbitant costs, and you should not enter government surveillance programs. You should be thanked, and you should be rewarded. One day, in the future, you may be a hero. As governor, I will stop the incessant and unnecessary bullying of gun stores across our state by the ATF. We will use our government programs not to survey and stifle gun owners and gun shops, but to prevent mentally sick people from crimes, the root of the problem. Because hey, the only other option is to take everyone's guns. In closing, I would like to introduce you to one of my friends, Pastor Kent Hovind, who reminds us of the dangers that have happened all around the world throughout history of what happens when government controls guns and says they're going to save the day. God bless.
In 1911, Turkey established gun control. Later, 1.5 million Armenians, unable to defend themselves, were slaughtered. In 1929, the Soviet Union established gun control, and for the next 30 years, 20 million dissidents, unable to defend themselves, were rounded up and slaughtered. 1938, Nazi gun control said Jews are prohibited from carrying firearms and ammunition. They established gun control in 1938, and for the next 6 years, At least 13 million Jews and others were rounded up and exterminated because they were unable to defend themselves. Okay? China established gun control in 1935, and for the next 10 years, 20 million political dissidents unable to defend themselves were exterminated. Guatemala established gun control in 1964. In the next 15 years, 100,000 Mayan Indians unable to defend themselves were exterminated, killed, murdered. Uganda established gun control in 1970. For the next 8 years, 300,000 Christians were murdered because they were unable to defend themselves. Cambodia established gun control in 1956, and from 75 to 77, 1 million educated people, maybe more, unable to defend themselves, were rounded up and exterminated. Defenseless people around the country, around the world, exterminated in the 20th century about 56 million. Next time someone talks in favor of gun control, ask them, who do you want to round up and exterminate?